Welcome to the Jones Review.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Jones Review here. This is B. Jones coming at you in the latest in entertainment news. Everybody buckle up because it's going to be a fun ride. On today's episode, I'm going to have my friends James Eblin and Greg Aldridge's. Well, Greg will be on the show later on today, but I also have my friend here, James Eblin, who will be on the show with me today. And we'll be talking about Star Wars. This is going to be a Star Wars themed episode today, and the views and opinions of the Jones Review do not reflect the views and opinions of WWSU Radio, Wright State University, nor their entities. But hey, if you guys want to participate, you guys can call the call-in number at 937-775-5555, and we will be live streaming or talking on Discord today if you guys want to participate. Also sent the links out on Facebook and Snapchat and everything. So, hey, James, are you there?
I am. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, James. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can. It's great to have
Perfect.
you on the show, man. I'm excited.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Looking
no
forward
problem.
to it.
All right. Well, let's start off with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Let's start off with that first. So, Jedi Fallen Order takes place in between, after the prequels, and then in between the original trilogy, and it takes place where the Empire won, and it kind of sets in between. Wouldn't you say it's set in between New Hope and Revenge of the Sith, or do you think it's after New Hope, James?
I would definitely say it's in between New Hope and Revenge of the Sith, just because if you look at how everything's sort of transitioning and there's a lot of remnants from the Clone Wars still lying around there, I would say you were spot on there. It's probably in between there.
All right, cool. And you have this main character name. Is it Caden or
Okay. Cal Kestis,
yeah, Cal Kestis. Excuse me, Cal Kestis. And
yeah,
Cal
played
Kestis,
by I think Monahan, right? The actor.
yeah, and he's also on
Remember the
Shameless
first
too.
name? Slipping my mind.
Yeah, think Star Wars. Yeah. Hold on.
Looking up some notes there, I
Yeah,
see.
real quick. Yeah,
We want to make sure we're accurate here.
Yeah, definitely.
Cameron Monaghan or Monahan,
Cameron Monahan, that's right, that's right.
and
No, he's a good actor. He was actually a lot of people recognize him from Gotham. I think he played the Joker on there,
yes, he played like
or
two
whatever
different
their
versions of
incarnation of
Joker.
the Joker was.
Yeah, on Gotham. Like
Mm.
he played like how would I say, he played more of a Gotham version of Joker, and then he played like a true comic accurate version of Joker.
Mm.
But they're kind of like twins in a way, or like brothers. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. But anyway, back to Star Wars. So they also have Forrest Whitaker as a Saw Gerrera. Is that correct? Or
Saul Guerrero, yeah,
yeah,
I think what they brought him on in Rogue One, and then they've done a really good job of keeping him involved. I think multiple projects actually within that Star Wars universe. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool getting to see him return and take that up. But seeing him a little bit younger, I think,
yeah,
than what we've previously seen. So it's just good to see him involved in those projects.
yeah. And Cal basically goes on an adventure of his life to becoming a Jedi, a true Jedi that he in the Force. Well, he starts to forget about. Well, in a way, he starts to learn and remember who he was as a Padawan to becoming a Jedi through the Force. And
So that brings up a really good point, actually. Would you say because he was only a Padawan, you wouldn't classify him as a Jedi beforehand?
yeah, beforehand, I would say he's considered as a Padawan still because he didn't finish
Okay.
his training. And I don't want to go too deep or spoil anything about that, but he didn't finish his training, and I would say it was around Revenge of the Sith. It'll probably show you what happened, but yeah, around there he didn't finish his training, so he's still a Padawan in training.
Yeah, he's a survivor of Order 66.
Yes.
So, sure some PTSD was involved in that and probably attributed a little bit to that.
Yeah. And the combat's kind of like, I would say, Dark Souls in a way. Or
Mm.
the whole some of it's not Dark Souls, but I would say just the combat, the way you block with your lightsaber and you can parry with your lightsaber. You can unlock skills along the way as you level up in the game and learn more new Jedi abilities. You can also have dual wield lightsabers, and you can also change the color of your lightsabers. You can also have a red lightsaber to where you can seem like you're Darth Maul in a way. Actually, there's some mods to where you can have the skin for Darth Maul too. But along the way he
PC
meets,
only, right?
huh?
PC only for that stuff,
Yeah,
though, right?
PC only. And then he meets what was it? What's her name? Or C? Is it Siri? Or
Seer?
yeah,
No.
Seer. Yeah, he meets Seer
Is it?
in Greets. Or I
Mm.
think I don't think I said that right.
Please.
Yeah, but he meets these characters along the way to help him go on this new adventure, and they're trying to find a way to rebuild the Jedi Order. But along the way, they kind of go on some, I would say, troubling uh, encounters with new enemy types or new. I think it adds more to the Star Wars lore in a way, and they add new
Mhm.
creatures, new aliens to the mythology and stuff, and
Sure.
they
And, the inclusion of the Seventh Sister, having all of those. I'm trying to remember the name from, because didn't those originally come out from Star Wars Rebels?
yeah,
The
Star Wars
Inquisitors?
Rebels. They
Mhm.
introduced the Ninth Sisters or Ninth,
I think it's the Inquisitors,
yeah,
isn't it?
Inquisitors, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And they were all fallen Jedi that, were tortured and all that, and then they became Inquisitors. So
yeah,
I think it's really cool that they're taking ideas from, you know, all the different media. I mean, you have a lot of stuff from the Clone Wars, but also the Star Wars Rebels, which I think is a little slept on compared to the Clone Wars. Personally, I did prefer the Clone Wars a little more just because of the storytelling. It's a little more mature, I would
yes,
say. But it's definitely good to see them pulling from different sources there, and then having it be in some different hands than Dave Filoni. I think he does a great job, but just letting some other, I guess visionaries kind of play with it a little bit. I think they did a really good job kind of moving that over and transferring that. So, good character building all around in that game, I would say.
oh yeah, without a doubt. I love the character development established in the game, and just the way
Mm.
you play as Cal and you go on this adventure with them, and then it's a thrill ride in the whole entire game, and you feel how Cal feels, and he's gone through a lot, and he starts to remember who he truly is in the game, and then they have this one special character in the end that you never expected to be in the game, but he comes out of nowhere and just like, what, he's in the game, what? And
Yeah,
then
great ending.
yeah, great ending, and they definitely teased it for a sequel, and it was confirmed by EA that they are making a sequel, and
Mhm.
it's probably, I'm not sure if it's probably is in development. I think they announced that, but
It is.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the graphics are amazing. I would say the just the world bending that they're making and the creation of other planets, and just keep adding more lore and new ideas to Star Wars to give it a new spice to it. And I would say that's definitely a great play. I would say it's a great game to play. I would recommend it to people if they're huge Star Wars fans and if they like playing as a Jedi, or yeah, I would say playing as a Jedi because there's no other like abilities and can't play as a Sith. So yeah. But out of 5 stars, I would rate it like a 4 out of 5 because it has some room for
That's not too
improvement.
bad.
Uh, James, how would you rate Fallen Jedi Order?
To be honest with you, I thought it was a really good uh, addition to the Star Wars universe. It's great. the way that they were able to include it within the canon. And I think it just kind of highlights what you can do with a solo Star Wars story, which is where I think Star Wars really shines. Like you see multiplayer and everything nowadays,
Mhm.
but just getting a true single player story that you can kind of go through and identify with, and it's almost more like an interactive movie. I would say with just how
Yes.
well the characters were written. I think I mentioned this before. I beat the game in I think 2 3 days after I'd gotten it. I just could not put it down. So I think you're pretty spot on, 4.5 out of 5. There are some things I think could be improved on, but at that point you're really nitpicking. So it'd have to be a 4.5 or 5 for me, definitely.
And there's so many like Jedi abilities that you can use, and you can wall run, and you can
Mhm.
force push. You can I think he can use the Obi-Wan special move or something on clones or something, or stormtroopers.
Of the confusion
Yeah,
thing.
the confusion, and then
Yeah.
you can
The force
deflect.
persuasion, is that what it is?
I think so.
I got a question for you. Are the stormtroopers just as bad at shooting in the game as they are in the movie?
No, they're kind of accurate. They're kind of accurate. They will shoot
Yeah,
at you.
but
Yeah.
that is one thing I guess you could say is that the blaster bolts are so slow, that it does make it a lot easier. But I mean, they have to do that, otherwise it'd be almost impossible to deflect. But the way they handle it was well done. But they'll hit you if you're not blocking. They'll definitely be able to get you. And that's one thing that this game also does well is that there's this sense of you're really powerful, but at the same time you have to be strategic in the way that you approach fights because if you get surrounded by too many people, you're not going to be able to get out of it. And I think that that's pretty refreshing to see going from a game like, I'm sure we all grew up with Force Unleashed, where you're just going in somewhere and you're just blowing things apart,
Yep.
to a game where Jedi, this is coming after Order 66, you get to see the vulnerable side of them a little bit and how they're developing. So they can't just go in there and steamroll everybody like they're on God mode or something. So that was just, very, very cool and almost like a puzzle in a way, which this game also does well. Like the addition of some Uncharted-like elements. I don't know if you guys have played those games very much, but
Yes, those are amazing
that
games.
was another good part to this is that it's got some really nice puzzles that I think some people would really like. Anyone that's played the Uncharted games or Half-Life or anything like that would probably be a fan of. But yeah, it's just overall well done.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I had a problem with was I think it was I literally just had this in my head. I don't know why I forgot about it. But anyway, overall, the game was awesome. The game should have won Game of the Year when it was nominated, but I think it
They should
was
have won that year.
wasn't it like Sekiro died twice or something?
I mean, you can't really fault people for having that win. That was because wasn't that supposed to be one of the greatest games of a generation or something? I never was able to play it because I'm an Xbox person, so we missed out on
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima and those kinds of games. So I did not get to try it, but I've heard a lot of really good things about that one as well. So you can't really fault them too much.
But yeah, if you guys want to participate, you can call the number at 937-775-5555 or participate in Discord. If you have a question or if any of you want to put something in the chat, you can. But other than that, we will move on to Star Wars The Clone Wars. So, James, Star Wars The Clone Wars, I gotta say, they definitely filled in the gap between episode 3 and beyond towards Order 66. Wouldn't you agree with that?
They did a good job of picking it up and kind of highlighting what it looked like from a different perspective, with seeing the departure of Anakin and Obi-Wan with Ahsoka. And because, we had seen Rex in Star Wars Rebels, so we knew he was there.
Right.
So I think being able to finally address how he got there was really cool to see. And then also just like you mentioned, filling in a lot of details that we did not have. was also really good because, you know, arguably the transition from Revenge of the Sith to A New Hope was, I would say, maybe one of the better ones in the Star Wars universe, just because it left a lot open for interpretation,
Yeah.
but that also leaves a lot in terms of available content that they can create and then insert in there, kind of like what we talked about with Jedi Fallen Order, you know, Rogue One, all these different new properties that they can bring in, and like you said, it is something where it allows for some creative, I guess, decision making on their end, and the new Clone Wars definitely highlight that for sure.
Oh, for sure, without a doubt. The final season definitely kind of, well, it kind of like sh- I liked how in Jedi Fallen Order and Clone Wars, I liked how they kind of showed, and also Revenge of the Sith too. It showed like different, like everything's happening in Order 66, but you're seeing different perspectives on like what's going
Right.
on when it's happening, and
Right,
it
and
just
and even the way it set up the Bad Batch was pretty cool as well. You know, because we had seen for years the what was it? They had footage released, or you know, like pre-production footage from when they were doing the animations for the Bad Batch episodes from all the way back in, you know, when the show was still on Cartoon Network. So to finally get to see those get created, come to the screen, you know, was something that was really cool and exciting to see as a fan, you know, who's been watching since I was, you know, in fifth grade or something.
yeah.
So for all of us old people that are excited to finally get to see these things come out, it's just pretty neat. And then especially with the Bad Batch spinoff and the way they handled that, it's good to see Dave Filoni involved. We'll just leave it there.
A,
He does a good job.
a true Star Wars fans that's actually carrying the whole franchise
Yes.
in a way. And I'm really excited for. I hope they. I know Clone Wars is finished, but I know they're continuing it with Bad Batch, the animation and stuff. But hopefully they make like another movie in a way that has more of, like, it takes place in between New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. Hopefully they like, I don't know,
Mhm.
not make a reboot, but add more to the lore of it or to the storyline with Luke, Han Solo, um, and all those other characters. Hopefully, I don't know.
Right.
I think it would be cool if they like add those characters in a way for that animation. If they make a
I
movie,
could see that, but at the same time, I kind of played at both sides of this where I like seeing the already established characters getting more screen time, but at the same time, I also enjoying some of the uh you know, new characters they're coming up with,
yeah,
and kind of getting their own stories because I think if anything, you look at the new movies that were released and the incorporation of Luke Skywalker and you know, Princess Leia. They're trying to bring all these characters that have had their story told, and they're adding on to them. And I think that that can upset a lot of people, but at the same time, making a story that surrounds them completely. I don't know if that would do it justice, or if maybe they would, you know, what they could do with that to make it balanced. Just because, you know, like I was saying, you can upset a lot of people, and I feel like they did that a little bit with the new movies.
oh
So
yeah, without a
uh,
doubt, because
yeah.
they definitely, I think they killed off Luke Skywalker for some they.
Oh whoa whoa! Spoiler alert.
What? Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, spoiler alert. Yeah, my bad. But yeah, they okay. Yeah, they killed off Luke Skywalker and what was it, the Return of the Jedi or something? No, no, the what's the new one? I forget.
What, the most recent one?
Yeah,
The
or the
Rise of
Last
Skywalker.
Jedi. The Last Jedi.
That was episode 8, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Last Jedi.
episode 8. Yeah, they did a lot
Then
of stuff.
9 was Rise of Skywalker. 7, Force Awakens. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Kylo Gardner.
I don't know. The way they really developed those characters in episode 8 definitely upset fans, and it just wasn't the right
Mm.
direction they should have gone in. And I just, well, of course it's not canon anymore, thank goodness. Um, but it just
When did they officially announce that? I'd been hearing that it was not canon for a while, or that they were like thinking about making it not canon, but I don't remember if I ever like heard an actual press release. But then from other sources, they're saying that they're going to turn them not canon by using the wills. I don't know if you remember
yeah
those from the Clone Wars, but
from Rebels.
yeah,
Yeah,
something from that, and that's how they're going to make it no longer canon. So that way they can redo or at least like get rid of it altogether. I don't know.
because they definitely messed up the Star Wars storyline that they
They,
had.
they goofed a little bit
Yeah,
on those ones, that's for sure.
yeah. But anyways, back to Clone Wars. I definitely liked how I liked the voice acting in it for sure, and I did meet
Mhm.
Sam Witter at a Comic-Con for my birthday. It was
Oh, he is so cool.
yeah,
I don't
he
know if you've
is.
seen any of the other stuff he does, but I mean, you're talking to the Apprentice right there. I
Yeah,
mean, you're talking. He's done a lot of stuff just like
yeah.
within the
He was a part
sci-fi
of our
universe.
childhood, man. He does a
Yeah,
lot of
no,
stuff.
he's awesome.
He
I
was
mean, he was
in
on Smallville back
yep,
in the day. He played
Doomsday.
Doomsday.
He was on Being
I
Human
mean, yeah,
as the vampire, and then he was also I didn't know that he was on Battlestar Galactica.
yes. I haven't actually seen Battlestar Galactica. I knew he was on that, but then he was also on a show called Being Human, which is kind of a throwback. So if any of you Sci-Fi Channel nerds out there know what that is, I'd be a little impressed. But that's a really good show. I recommend it if anyone wants to watch a vampire show. He did a great job on that. And I'm almost disappointed that we don't see him in more stuff nowadays. Every time I see him in anything, it makes me want to go see it, just because I know he does a great job.
Yeah, it just well, he was in more of Days Gone too. He was that was a PlayStation exclusive. I think he said he spent like 4 or 5 years on that. So I think that's
Oh,
where he's been. I think he's gonna do more video games or voice acting in a way. But I do remember him telling me that he didn't get well he got called in for the Darth Maul part, but he didn't
mhm.
he was nervous to audition for it, and he got called in for it. So he was like, "Oh wow, I got the part." So yeah, yeah, I was very starstruck, James. I never felt so nervous in my life. I felt so confident, but I just it was him. I just have you ever felt that before?
Let me tell you, I don't know if I ever told you about this, but I went on a trip up to Canada and I met Stephen Amell.
Oh
I got
yeah,
to go on site for the TV show Arrow,
yeah.
and it's really embarrassing, but it's a funny story. When I was sitting on set, I had they gave me the sound mic and this headphone to listen into, like they were recording the episode and doing some shoots, and Stephen Amell comes out and says, "Hey, how's it going?" So I get up and I accidentally drop all this expensive equipment
Oh,
straight on the floor from the chair, and I'm just like, "Oh, whoops!" So he like bends over, picks it up, hands it back, and he's like, "Oh, you're good." But no, it was. I mean, he was so cool. It's a great experience, and I completely understand where you're coming from with that, because you see these guys on TV and just doing these things that you love, and when you finally get to meet them in person, you do get a little shake in your boots, I would say, but definitely did not disappoint. He was an awesome guy. So support a lot of the stuff he does. He does a lot of things for cancer charities and everything, and I'm always behind that. So love to see that.
heck yeah. Well, yeah, Sam Witter, such a great guy. I'm still a huge fan of his, and just no matter what he does, I support him and like the all the characters he want to play in the future. And he did a great job as Darth Maul in Clone Wars.
Well, he also did Palpatine too, didn't he?
Yeah, and Force Unleashed.
No, no. In Battlefront 2, and then I'm pretty sure in the TV show, the Clone Wars, I think they had him do Palpatine as well, because he had done it on another project or something, and auditioned him again, and he ended up getting that part. So he's versatile, I guess is the word to say.
Yeah, sure, that's right. He's versatile. Um, and then I think Matt Lerner was there too, but I didn't really care to see him. I just want to see Sam Witter. But yeah, he plays Anakin Skywalker in the Clone Wars, and
Mhm.
then
Yeah.
an
Now the
Obi-Wan.
real one that you need to see is you need to see the guy that plays what is it, millions of the same person. You see D. Bradley Baker,
Yeah.
the man himself, the voice of the clones.
hmm I think I saw him on what's it Steve Bloom's well, I was thinking about taking voice acting classes or something, but anyways, I think I saw him. You said Steve Bradley or Sam
Is it
Bradley?
D. Bradley Baker?
D Bradley.
I think it's D. Bradley Baker. You can look it up.
Yeah, I'm looking
I
up
think
right
it's,
now. Yeah, D Bradley Baker. Yeah. He plays
there we
like
go.
how, I wonder how your voice doesn't get tired of that. Like playing the same, well, not the same character, but voicing the same character, but in
I was
different tones.
watching a video of him and he was explaining how he gets into character for playing all the different clones from the Bad Batch and how he has to like keep the same voice but then change like minute things about them.
Mhm.
And he said that that makes it a lot more fun and he tries to give all the clones their own personality.
Okay.
And that's one of the ways he can like stick with it and not get bored is that it's almost a challenge to try and convey these people that have their own personality, their own way of talking, but at the same time they have the exact same voice, and that is kind of cool when you think about it. And I'll say when you listen to him and you listen to was it Tamora Morrison or I don't think I
Wait, what
the
character
one
does
that
he
plays
play?
Jango Fett. Who? Tamora?
Yeah, Tamar. Yeah.
He plays Jango Fett. So he's Jango
Oh,
Fett and now he's been moved into Boba Fett as well. So he you know, you listen to them and it's almost like, you know, you're not hearing D Bradley do it, it's like, oh no, that's not the right voice because it's like you've heard this for so many years doing the clones that it's almost a little weird. So it's funny that in the Battlefront games they actually had Tamora Morrison come in and do and I apologize if I am
no, I know who
butchering
you're
his name,
talking to now. Yeah,
but
yeah.
but it was funny how they had him come in do the voice for Boba Fett, and then they had D. Bradley Baker come in and do all the clone voices. You would think it would be one does all, or the other one does all of them, but I just thought that was a neat little thing they incorporated into the game.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool for that. I don't know, like, I just hope they continue. Well, they will continue the animation for the Clone Wars, but I just think it's such a great blueprint of what they should do for for
Mhm.
future Star Wars projects if they want to continue more of that animation. But for Clone
Exactly.
Wars, uh, it just has so much storyline. Character development is on point. The animations is stunning, and it's I don't know. I would say it's mind blowing and eye popping, and I just out of 5 stars, I would give it a 5 out of 5 for me because
No
they
faults.
huh
No faulting the Clone Wars franchise.
yeah I just think it's the best. Like I think it reminds us of the prequels in a way, but it kind of builds from it, but makes it better. That it makes the what do you say? Is it the New Republic era or is it the
I think it might be that. I'm
yeah
not entirely sure though.
yeah? I just like the New Republic era because it has different type, like you said, different characters that are unique in their own way, and I think they need more of that in the other eras in a way. What I don't like about the Empire era is because they keep adding new stormtroopers that I haven't seen before in the original movies.
Right,
And it just they
right.
keep adding more and more. I'm just like, I've never seen these stormtroopers before at all. Like
It,
I don't
here's the thing that I think is kind of exhaustive. Like, I understand the incorporation of the clones, and I think they did such a good job of doing the backstory for why the clones look the way they do and their armor is so iconic and how it turned into the stormtrooper armor.
Mhm.
But the fact that they can't really get away from that and they keep trying to reinvent it for every single, thing that comes out after, or they're trying to reinvent it in in Star Wars, just in other areas. It's almost like, there's so many other things they could do, and I understand that it's iconic, but at the same time, if you try to, I guess, just follow along with that, because remember the Clone Wars or the clones were the first ones to really wear that armor. It's modeled after, well, I guess they weren't the first. It was modeled after Mandalorian armor, but to then like you look at different games and stuff that supposedly take place before the Clone Wars, like why are all these enemies looking like pseudo stormtroopers and stuff like that, or why are they, like you said, changing up and adding all these random stormtroopers in there? It's like there's so many things they could do, but
Right.
I don't know. Now, when it comes to rating the Clone Wars, I'm going to be brutally honest here. I can't give it a 5. And there is a very good reason, and I think you forgot about it, is the what is it, the Cruz sisters? That is that, am I saying that right? Do you remember the little arc in the final season of Clone Wars?
Oh yeah, the Cruz sisters. Oh
Oh
yeah, I
yeah.
didn't like that arc.
No, absolutely not. And that is the one reason I cannot give it a 5. I just that was the most disappointing part for me, is that they had to include that because it added nothing to the story.
There is no reason to add those. I just felt like they wanted to add female roles to that season, or female
I
roles.
mean, I would have been fine if they had done that. It's just they were so poorly done,
Yeah,
and it was almost annoying because we knew that there was only going to be however many episodes, and they wasted what, 3 or 4 on the Cruz sisters,
yeah,
and on a story arc that I feel like everyone can agree was almost pointless. Um, because the only thing it really did was to establish what Ahsoka getting off of Coruscant after she left the Jedi Order. Is
yeah,
that what that was?
yeah.
So
I
yeah,
think it was just
I could have cared less about that.
yeah. I think it was just giving, they're trying to show or tell a story for Ahsoka to come back to the storyline to finish for the final
Mhm.
season. But I think they did that poorly with the way they established those characters.
No, 100%. I would
Yeah,
agree with you.
yeah. But anyways, we are coming up on our break, so we will talk more about Star Wars, and we'll also have Greg on if he's able to come on soon. So hope you guys stay tuned for more of the Jones Review.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures
Welcome to the Jones Review.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Jones Review. This is B. Jones coming at you in the latest in entertainment news. I have my friends here, James Eblin and also Greg Aldridges, who will be able to do at least 15, 20 minutes. But let's see what we can do. James, are you there?
I certainly am.
All right, awesome. Glad to have you on the show, man.
Yeah, no, good to get to continue some of these chats with you.
Heck yeah. So, yeah, Star Wars: The Clone Wars. We left off on. I think you talked about. Was it the some sisters for the final season?
The Cruise Sisters, I
Yeah,
think we were talking about, and
yeah, the
how
Cruise sisters.
poorly done that part was. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. I had something. Okay. Yeah. So the Cruise sisters. I don't know. I think the writing could have been a lot better. I think they rushed it. I think they rushed those episodes. And I think the last two episodes were just, I don't know, the first four episodes were really good. And then those next three episodes were bad. And then when they finally got to the last couple episodes, it started to really pick up.
Right. It's unfortunate that that sort of middle part of the Clone Wars had that really lackluster arc, because instead of feeling the continuity and the build throughout the entire series, it's sort of like it builds during the Bad Batch, because you're like, okay, well, what's going to happen once Order 66 finally happens? And then instead of building on top of that, you just sort of sit there and go, why is this? Because I now have to wait like 2 or 3 weeks for something good to actually start happening, and then it finally moves into that last arc. And controversial, maybe some people really did like it. I've personally haven't found anyone or talked to anyone that actually thought it was a worthwhile addition to the story.
Mm-hmm.
But just from a standpoint of keeping people excited and really doing the final season justice, I thought it was just such an odd time to bring them in to the into the story, because they just honestly were more annoying than anything.
Yeah, I don't know, just what Disney gave, or I think just the way Lucasfilm and Disney made. I just think they kind of rushed those episodes just so they can get to the the final three episodes. But actually, I don't know. I think it's kind of weird because it seems like Lucasfilm, because they had Lucasfilm to do the last three episodes, and it was more cinematic. It looked like an actual movie in a way.
Right. No,
Yeah.
I would agree, and especially with the ending. I won't say what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty obvious what happens if anyone's seen A New Hope, but won't spoil anything regardless. They really did a lot to make it seem much more cinematic, like you're saying. Just the way they were doing camera angles and a lot more, I guess, nuanced things that you really have to like read into to understand what's going on.
Right.
But like you said, really, really cinematic is a good way to describe it.
And did you know for that final fight with Ahsoka versus Darth Maul, did you know that Ray Park did the motion capture for
I
Darth Maul?
did. Yes. Ray Park, what a guy. It is really something when they bring back the guy that started it all, because to be honest with you, you can write great characters all you want, but without Ray Park playing that role of Darth Maul, I don't think it would have been nearly as popular as it is. He's not an actor. He is a stuntman. Do you know the story behind him ending up with the Darth Maul role?
No.
So it's funny, they were actually bringing actors in, trying to do the part, but they just could not find anyone to capture what they wanted correctly. So what they ended up doing is, Darth Maul doesn't have a whole lot of speaking lines. So I think they had Del Toro. I think it's something Del Toro. That's the
Oh,
actor's name. He's pretty famous.
I know who you're talking about.
Right, right.
Benetero del
Yes.
Toro.
Yes, something.
Beyoncio del Toro. I know who you're talking about.
So you get what I'm saying. But they brought him in to do the voice acting, and then they had Ray Park, just because they'd seen him do the rehearsal fights, they knew that he could do the physicality that the role of Darth Maul demanded, and that was just something that really was more part of that character than anything else. So the fact that they brought him back to, reprise the role and really give it that depth to the character, even though it's in an animated form, was something really special to see. And you know, I know there was a little bit of a scandal or something after that had all dropped, and with everything that happened with Solo Story, I don't know if they'll be able to do any more live action Darth Maul stuff, but anything Darth Maul related, it's got to have him in there. So would definitely be game to see some more Ray Park reprising more Darth Maul scenes and coming up with some more choreography, because it is just you can't really mimic it as much. You look at what they did in the original Clone Wars series, in those fight scenes, and it's so different. Just the way that they did stuff.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. I think it was just dedicated for the fans that really love
Hmm.
Clone Wars and just love Star Wars. And I think David Fillion definitely captured that for that series finale and or the final 3 episodes that they want to showcase. But I gotta say, well done. Applaud to David Fillion, and also he also done the Mandalorian, and then
Yes.
I
So
think he's
I,
also
I
doing
think
the
he's
oh sorry
what, becoming like a one of the executive producers,
yeah
one of like the really higher ups, Dave Filoni,
yeah
over at Lucasfilm.
he's becoming more of a Kevin Feige for Marvel for
Right.
Star Wars. He's
I
becoming
think that's great. You
yeah
really could not pick a better one. I think George Lucas has even like said before that if anyone would take over, as the prototypical George Lucas of the Star Wars universe, which I guess is the architect behind everything, it would be George or Dave Filoni rather.
yeah
And seeing him work with what's that director's name? The one from Iron Man.
oh John Favreau
Yes, John Favreau.
yeah
John's been a lot like a lot more of a mentor from the because Dave's been really good with all the animated stuff, but I think John's been really helping him with all the live action in terms of doing directing and things like that.
yeah
So those two together, I think, are like single-handedly saving Star Wars right now, and I will go on record with
I
that
agree
comment.
with that without a doubt because literally what actually sparked the live action Star Wars to come back was Mandalorian. Just the way that first episode aired. After that, people were just raving about the Mandalorian. Don't you agree with that?
I would say so,
Yeah.
yeah, but I think expectations were so low for the Mandalorian just because all of the recent Star Wars that we've seen were the movies, and the way that they were handled, I think, turned the fan base off so much that a lot of people did not have high hopes for the Mandalorian, even with the trailer. So the fact that they did a good job, they were able to keep, the child a secret. I feel like it's not a spoiler to say the Baby Yoda, because you can't walk anywhere nowadays without seeing Baby Yoda. Um, I think kudos to them, and they really did something that I don't think a lot of people were expecting. So I think bringing John Favreau in was a great decision.
Mhm. Definitely agree with that. And I think Kevin Feige's also making a Star Wars movie too, or in
Is
some
he?
way. I
I
think.
think he might like be helping produce one. Yeah,
Yeah. But hey,
get the man behind Marvel in there, and I feel like only good things can happen.
and then I think Tawaki Watiti is making a Star Wars movie too.
Yep. Taika Waititi, he's gonna do, I think, he's gonna do a 3 episode arc, um, but I think it's gonna be a standalone trilogy, if
Uh,
I remember correctly. But it's gonna be from the Knights of the Old Republic era,
yeah,
I think. Which, by the way, if you have not seen, do you know the game Star Wars: The Old Republic, the MMORPG?
yeah. I saw the cinematic trailers. Those were
Yes. Those. That's a great example of there's so much content in those short 10-minute videos that you could literally create movies out of those. And I think including more like things like that into the Star Wars universe would be great because there's already so much established lore from back there. I mean, you look at the most successful, arguably the most successful Star Wars game ever created in Knights of the Old Republic, which is getting its remake. Um, and just in that one game alone, it spawns so much content that they can pull from. And I think one of the things that they've been struggling with is they've stuck in the exact same era of Star Wars for so long. So whether it's going to be, you know, and that's unfortunate because it's in a galaxy far away and there's thousands and thousands and thousands of years of history and we're stuck within the same 50-year time period.
Yep.
Whereas we have never seen on the big screen a time where there's Jedi and Sith running around, and there is that huge war that you hear about. So being able to pull from that and then use those sources, I feel like one, it would draw a lot more of an audience because it's hard to, or at least for a lot of the Star Wars fan base, for them to really get behind something new that they're like, okay, well, what is this? And then they get frustrated and they're like, oh, well, that's not canon or this and that. But if, they were to make something around the Knights of the Old Republic time period and they were to use some of the stuff from the game or some of I think the Star Wars Legends that, has been around for decades, I think that would be a really good way to break out of that, the current era that they're stuck in. And they have a couple projects coming out soon, or don't they? Like an animated project as well that's in the High Republic.
Yeah.
Am I making that up, or I think I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, I saw that too. That's it's part of the development Star Wars development list that they're making for Disney. Because Disney's like developing so many Star Wars shows, and I think that's a part of it too. And Disney are Star Wars movies with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And have you been by any chance? I have not, so I'm just wondering. Have you been to the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at California or Florida by any chance?
No, I want to though. That's on my bucket list. Would you
Weren't
recommend
they
it?
selling the what was it, the blue juice that Luke Skywalker drank in the eighth movie there? I swear they were.
Have you tried it?
No, no, I would totally do it though.
Oh.
Um, but I think that they like have all these different food combinations, and I've heard only good things. But I would 100% go there to just for that.
I don't know.
I've
Maybe
heard
we
it's
should plan a
amazing.
trip to go there, James.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
put it on the bucket list.
What do you think blue juice would taste like out of curiosity?
I I picture it being like we're all from around the area. Have you been to Kings Island and had their blueberry ice cream? Or
Yeah.
what is it, the blue ice cream?
That's
Yeah.
delicious.
That's what I feel like it would taste like in my mind. Although when you think about the creature it came out of, there's no way that's what it tastes like. So uh,
Mm-hmm.
no idea. I'd like to think it tastes like blue ice cream. We'll just leave it there. Happy thoughts.
Happy thoughts. Yep. Happy thoughts. Um, yeah. I hope that for the future of Star Wars, it looks bright so far because after what they recently they recently showcased Star Wars Visions and now it's on Disney
Mhm.
Plus. And what I I think what they should do from now on, I mean, I think they're doing it right now. We just don't know. I mean, we know that it's in development, but just different stories, maybe from different timelines or just different stories with different characters that should be established and should be canon so they can pull so much content from different eras and from the books or from just any type of content that they can produce. I think that they should just stick to the different stories because it's like you said, a far, far away galaxy in thousands of years and different planets and different characters.
Mhm.
So I
And that's something that actually Jedi Fallen Order, to go back to that, did a very good job of doing is they brought in these new planets because one gripe that I guess you could say that you have with Star Wars, or that I know a lot of people, myself included, have, is that you look at these movies and in these games and the different things that are spun off. And I think that's almost one of the issues that we had with the newer movies is that they can't let go of the stuff that's already been created. I think it's fine to build off of them, but to constantly return to the exact same planets and the exact same, I guess, points and stories can almost be exhaustive. And you run into the risk of, I guess, continuity issues where it starts becoming, we already had a really good idea of what Tatooine was. I think between the Clone Wars, or not the Clone Wars, but the prequels and the original trilogy, there was a really good basis for what Tatooine was.
Right.
I think returning to Tatooine, literally everything in every movie, every game, I understand why they do it because it's an iconic planet, but at the same time, there, I would say, are like four planets that you see over and over and over again in the Star Wars universe. And in a galaxy, there are going to be millions upon millions of planets. So, you know, it was really nice to see Jedi Fallen Order create a couple of new environments to go and explore with some new lore, and that was, one of the successful things I think they did really well.
I think they reuse the planets just to save money. I think so.
Is that what you think?
Yeah, I think they reuse some of the like you said, Tatooine. They probably reuse the Tatooine movie set or something, or the movie. Yeah, probably movie
I
set.
I
Just I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I
'Cause they go to like Iberia for those. It's not like a set typically.
wait. Is it more like No, I was just talking about why they keep going back to it because I think that
Oh,
they,
oh.
like you said, it is iconic, but I also think that they reuse it to save money on certain, like if they the way m- that they create the story. I don't know. I just
Yeah, it's Disney.
that's,
They own everything. Money is the least of their concerns, except making money. And they do that very well. We'll just say that.
okay. Yep, they did. They definitely do. Um. Anyways, what do you think? Depending on Mandalorian and when the book of Boba Fett comes out, I heard that Book of Boba Fett will be more grittier and would be, I wouldn't say better. They said it would be better in a way, but what do you have any ideas what the Book of Boba Fett would be like in a way?
I have. I feel like we're gonna see a little bit more of the ugly side of Boba Fett. He's coming back. He's clearly got some battle scars. Things have happened to him, and it seems like he's got a couple of people he wants to go ahead and deal with. So I think we're going to be seeing what happens when you get on the wrong side of a galaxy-renowned bounty hunter. So it could be very violent.
Definitely. And I don't know why, but are you a huge Boba Fett fan? Or
I
do you,
like Boba Fett. Personally, I always thought Jango Fett was cooler. I know we don't see him as much, and it's technically it's the same person,
yeah,
DNA wise. But
DNA.
um, I always liked that character. But the way the Clone Wars handled Boba Fett and raising him, I think it's very interesting character just because he's a clone, but he's not like all the other clones. But everyone who sees him is going to see him as all the other clones when he's really something different.
Hmm.
So I don't know. He's a cool character, but between him and Jango Fett, I like Jango Fett more.
I never really understood why people like Boba Fett or Jango Fett. I don't know, or
Really?
just any Mandalorian. Like I really got into the Mandalorian because of the Mandalorian because they went more in depth with who the Mandalorians are. But I mean,
Did
with
you ever
just with the
play Knights of the Old Republic?
I did not.
Oh my goodness, Bailey, that is one of the it's usually put in like the top 10 games of all time. Very often, like in terms of RPGs and things like that, it stands up to the test of time even today. I would recommend you giving that a try. I mean, you can play it on almost anything nowadays. I think they even have it on smartphones. But I would say one of the reasons why Mandalorians became really popular was because of those games, because they incorporated Mandalore and Mandalorian history so much into Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic 2. So I would strongly recommend you giving those a playthrough, because I think you would be very, very impressed by them. They're amazing games, especially for the time period they came out in. It was, a feat of technology. Nowadays, it's not so much, but
Yeah.
still the story is unrivaled. Fantastic.
All right. You said Knights of the Old Republic.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll give it a try sometime. I'm
I
thinking.
mean, you have to before the new remake comes out, right?
Yeah, before the new remake, of course. Yeah. I well, did you hear about Ubisoft making a Star Wars game? Or do you
I,
know
I did, but you'd have to remind me which one because I know that there's a couple studios making Star Wars games right now.
they didn't announce what it or what the game would be like, but I did hear that it might be. Well, it's kind of like an RPG or single player RPG, and you would have a jetpack and everything. It seems like you'll be a Mandalorian in a way, but
Mm.
I don't think that's the case. But like as the Mandalorian, like in the show, but I think it'll be a different character, or it could be Star Wars 1717 or some. You remember that?
1313.
Yeah, 1313. I think it could be
I
that,
do.
or
I remember when LucasArts had its own website, and I used to go check the LucasArts website. And I remember when I saw that trailer, and I was really excited. So it was a huge bummer when it did not get to come out because they shut down production or were bought out by Disney. I can't remember if that's the reason why it stopped.
yeah. Uh, since we're on the games, I was thinking that we can talk about Battlefront 2.
Let's. What questions do you have about Battlefront 2?
I don't know. I was thinking that with the way Battlefront 2 is, do you think it would have been a better launch if they had it if they had it to where it was fully finished and just the way the current state it is now? Do you think they should have waited to release that version when it first came out and then instead of what they
I
released?
personally don't think we would have seen the version that it is now if it had never released the way it did. And I say that because with all the controversy that surrounded the loot crates and the system,
Mm-hmm.
that sort of was like a slap in the face. Because you have to remember that completely, um, that was a game changer for the entire industry. Like there were lawsuits and there were countries that were not allowing certain parts of the game or were like outlawing the game because of loot crates and because they're considered gambling and the addictiveness and just the way that it launched was such a bad PR move. I think that had it launched the way it did now, still with the loot crates, because I think that they would have kept that. Um, if there wasn't backlash. If it had been a decent game at launch with the loot crate system, I think people would have just put up with it, and we would not have gotten the really good updates and the quality content. Because I played from the very beginning. I remember the loot crate system, and it was pretty bogus, to be honest with you, trying to upgrade things, and it took forever to upgrade. But the game itself was still fun. Um, I think that it was such a wasted opportunity, and clearly showed that people wanted to play because the highest player count ever was when they stopped support for it. That's when it was still picking up steam. So if they had released the game with all the heroes they should have, because there's no reason the game should have been released without Obi-Wan and Anakin. No reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like that doesn't make any sense at all. So the fact that we had to wait almost 2 years for them to come out, that makes no sense. So to your point, had it been more finished, I think it would have been more successful. But at the same time, I think that in order to get it to the good system where it is now, where they had to go back to the drawing board, completely restructure everything, it needed to kind of fumble a little bit at the start. I'm just worried that there's not going to be a Battlefront 3. And that would be a shame to see them not go ahead and move forward with that.
Yeah. I would agree with that. just the way Battlefront 2, I first played it when it first came out, and I lost, I was turned off by it. And of course, with the loot box system that they had, I definitely felt like I'm not going to get to where I want to be. And then, like, I think when we were playing it together, I think
Mhm.
freshman year of college, they came out with the clone commandos or something.
Right, the Republic Commandos, which
Yeah.
did you ever play that game?
No, I did not.
Oh my goodness, Bailey, these 2000 games that you haven't played, these are the epicenter of Star Wars video games.
I
That
w-
one is one that you need to try.
I wasn't really interested in playing video games the early 2000s. I mean, certain games I
Mhm.
liked, but I never truly liked Star Wars around that time for some reason. I don't know, it just seemed boring. But when I'm older now and then I actually rewatch those movies, I'm like, wow, I understand why people like Star Wars so much, and I like it too. But yeah,
And
I got definitely set time to play some the Knights of the Old Republic
they
games.
had it come out on Xbox Games with Gold, the both of those games actually. Um, but yeah, I'll do a quick run through of Republic Commandos, just very quick summary. But what it is it's essentially it's a grittier version of the Star Wars universe from the clone perspective. And you're playing as the elite commandos because the game Republic Commando was so popular that that's the reason why they implemented the commandos into the Clone Wars series. Because they saw how successful that was because it wasn't supposed to be anything, it was just going to be part of that. Because back then, you have to remember, all the Star Wars games were just legends. Like most of them weren't canon. It could just be whatever. But they decided to keep those just because it was so largely successful. It was kind of like Star Wars' answer to Halo, the way those games were developed, and they played very, very well. So when you get a chance, that and Knights of the Old Republic, put them on your list, and then I'll ask you about it. See if you ever did it.
I will. Was that game in first person or third person?
It's a first-person shooter.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So you're seeing through the T visor of the Republic Commandos. Very, very cool. The soundtrack is unbelievable. It really is a much more realistic approach. Back when I first played it, the graphics were unbelievable. Just because, like, in 2004, 2005, whenever the game was released, like, those were insane graphics. And they were beautiful because it was much more realistic than a lot of the other Star Wars content that we had gotten. So they were really trying to go for the realism feel, and they succeeded, I would say, because I don't know if you remember these, but I'm dating myself a little bit again. At Target, they would have these like game packs, like these CD-ROMs that had like 5 games on them.
Yeah.
It was like the best of Star Wars collection. And you would just go ahead and buy that and you'd have a code for every single game. So I actually bought that and that's how I ended up playing Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars Empire at War, and then Battlefront 1 was on there, but Battlefront 1 for some reason was horrible on all the computers I tried to play. But then it also had Republic Commando, so um, just all very, very solid games.
For sure. I'm about to check it out for sure, James. But yeah, I think another question I had for Battlefront 2. So like I want to know why they took so long to add the co-op feature in the in Battlefront 2, because that's what really got my attention to play Battlefront 2 even more.
Mhm.
Like I literally maxed out all my classes, maxed out Obi-Wan, maxed out Anakin, Luke Skywalker, Palpatine, Darth Maul, like you name it. Like I love playing against the CPU for playing as those characters, because it's just, I don't know, playing, well, except for heroes versus villains, because that was fun. I like playing that too, but it just, playing on multiplayer, it was just so toxic, and it was just, I don't know, I just couldn't, yeah, I didn't enjoy it at all, because just the way that they had, like, I think I really didn't like the maps either, because I felt like they're more, I don't know, just like they had the Last Jedi map. I forget what it's called, but I don't know. It just, there were so
Mhm.
many like spots where you can camp. There were so many camping spots, and it's just not enough to where you actually see your opponent.
That crate.
Yeah, that crate. Yeah, that little crate people hid in, where you don't see them, and they can just shoot you or snipe you.
Yeah, I think Crate is the map. It's the one with like the planes. Like
Yeah,
it's a plane, it's a salt plane, and then
yeah,
they have the speeders and stuff and the red dust all over the place. Is that the one you're talking about?
yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Um, I have to disagree. I have to disagree with you there. I think that map in particular, I think that all the maps, there are some that are better than others, but Craig could probably allude to this as well, because we've put hundreds of hours into Star Wars Battlefront, and we've kind of played all the maps, probably too much,
Oh,
I would say. Um, but I think that the evolution and the different areas, because yes, there are spots to camp on certain maps and it can get annoying, but there is always an avenue to get around it on every map. Like I have not run into a situation where, except for maybe Naboo, where you're trying to, attack the throne room, but it's kind of meant to be like that, where, you have to like camp, or it's really just like pushing. Like it's a straight up like who can push the other and who can win. That straight up push. Um, but for the most part, there is no way to camp without someone being able to come back and get you. And I've noticed that because, like, if someone will snipe me, there's so many different ways. You can get in a starship and then blow them to pieces. You could easily get into a speeder or something and then run somebody over. There's that tunnel system on Crate that you can use and really get behind people or run through there. I know that that's one of my favorite parts of that map is just going in there and blasting people with the the officer class on the crate map. So
yeah,
I think they kind of incorporated that into every map too, and they did a beautiful job recreating every single map from the movies and TV shows.
yeah. That was I do agree with that. They did a beautiful job recreating those maps, and also uh, I also liked how they added the different skins for the clones or stormtroopers.
Hmm.
Or when you play as a clone for the New Republic era, you can literally play as like I would not play as, but you can put a skin on for like Captain Rex. I think it had a Captain Rex skin. I think, and then or they
I think it's just the 501st,
yeah 501st
the Legion itself. Yeah.
yeah, and then you can just put like different skins on for Anakin Skywalker, and then for
Hmm.
Darth Maul they had a couple skins, and then I don't know, just
And see, that's an example of a wasted opportunity.
yeah.
To be honest with you, because they could have kept making skins
Hmm.
for that game, and then really, I think they gave up on trying to monetize from the game. That's the reason why they released that collector's edition
Yeah.
towards the end. Whereas, they have all these other games like Call of Duty and Fortnite and all these games that are, Apex, making all this money off of skins, and they're sitting there releasing one skin every couple months for characters, or like a character will get two skins and that's it. Like if they had continued and actually put the effort in to make some other skins or done something a little bit different, they could have profited a lot more, because right now the industry of gaming, loot boxes are slowly starting to fade away, I would say, in the terms of like they give you a competitive advantage. Now it's more of a loot box system with skins. So, if they had stuck with that model a little bit and really pushed, developed more skins and done some cool things and then worked on their in-game currency, there's a good chance that game could still be, in development, or could still be getting new content updates. But instead, you know, DICE and EA are really good about taking devs off of their properties and moving them over to their Battlefield content or their whatever game needs to be worked on. So what that does is it just leaves their games that are being supported high and dry. So then those aren't getting content anymore, which is a shame.
I am texting Greg right now. He's having trouble getting in. Yeah,
What trouble is he having?
he's not able to. He's trying to figure out how to get in, but he can't figure it out. Should we call Greg real quick? See if,
Sure.
okay, see if we can.
That's interesting. Did he specify exactly what
Okay,
trouble he was having?
what? Okay, Optimus Ginger. Okay, are we able to send him an invite at all?
Yeah, you could.
Okay,
You,
I
you
have
should
his.
be able to.
I have. Oh, okay.
You have them on Discord?
Yeah.
So if you go to the WWSU server, you should be able to click the name and then click invite people. Actually, oh, hang on a second. Oh, I don't have good old technology, am I right, Bailey?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go ahead, Bailey, I'm going to send an invite link into the Jones Review channel, and then you send that to Craig.
Okay.
So send that to Craig.
All right, I got it.
All right.
Wait, is it? Okay, here we go. Copy link. Okay.
I was looking up Ubisoft's Star Wars game thing as you were talking about it, and it looks like it's going to be some sort of open world adventure type of game.
Yes.
They didn't they didn't mention any title or anything. Apparently, they said it is going to be a Star Wars game worth waiting for. That's all.
That means it's not coming out for a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
long
was
time.
thinking for. That's what I was thinking.
It can't take longer than Elder Scrolls, right?
I'll be an Elder Scroll by the time it comes out.
He's asking where to go to talk.
Say what?
He's asking where do I go to
Is
actually
he
talk to him.
Optimus Ginge 67?
Yes. That's
Oh,
it. Okay.
tell him to go into stage on air 1.
Go into stage on air 1. Okay. All right. Sorry, James. Still.
It's okay. This is Craig's fault.
That's all right. Hopefully we get him in for at least a few minutes.
Hopefully. But yeah,
All right.
I am excited for that Ubisoft game to come out.
Yeah, the whole open world adventure sounds intriguing. It sounds like you're going to be doing your own exploration, and maybe they'll have a bunch of side quests or something like that.
Yeah. That's what Ubisoft is good for. And did you know that they're also making an Avatar game? With the blue people?
I saw that on the
Mhm.
article as well, that they're making an Avatar game. Yeah.
And they
Yeah,
said
I mean, they're really jumping the gun on that one. I think maybe wait to see how that movie performs because it's been how many years? What, 10 years since Avatar came out? I remember being amazed with how it looked and it was like crazy. But I feel like they're really just going off on an assumption that they can make anything Avatar related and it's just going to be a huge hit. Like, we know there's a following for Star Wars. We know there's a following for like Star Trek. We know there's a following for, these properties that have multiple installments. But why do we, just go off the assumption that, oh, because Avatar was a movie that did really well one time, everybody is going to be all over it when things come out. I think let the movie come out, build that hype, and then you can drop, your game or something like that. But I don't know if releasing it on its own is a good idea.
I see where you're coming from because it just has one movie. I know that there's fans for it, but like we haven't truly seen gameplay for it yet. But I don't know, just so far it kind of looks cheesy or kind of looks.
All right. I think we got Craig now.
Oh, Craig.
Can you hear us,
You
Craig?
guys got me now.
Craig!
That's
Giraffe,
go.
he's back. What's
Sorry.
up?
Sorry, it took me so long.
It's all right. We're all a little special.
Hey, you know
Well,
what?
more so than
Everyone
others.
has that. Everyone has their special gifts, and mine is being
Everybody
terrible
has
at
those
Discord.
days.
Everybody makes mistakes. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, what's going on, guys? What's the topic right now?
I like it. Craig coming in with the clone trooper in his picture. There we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait.
Hold on, James. Do you remember when we were part of that whole group on Battlefront?
Yeah.
Battlefront 2? Like that
Oh,
whole the clone crew? What was that? A
Yeah.
327th, I think, something like that.
Like
That was
yeah.
fun. That was a blast. I think we played maybe one game with them, one giant group game with them, and then I think that was it. That was it.
Yeah.
Craig,
Little too hardcore for me.
is everybody familiar with the this is radio, so we can't curse and all of that? I can't tell you what to say since we're on the air, or what not to say.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You can't
Oh,
say beep 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 or beep. There you go.
Oh, I didn't catch it. Oh, okay.
gotcha. I got you guys.
Basically, it's the George Carlin 7 dirty words you can't say on TV. You also can't say on radio. So if you know those 7 words, then you'll know what not to say.
Gotcha.
Or just keep it family friendly and there's no problem.
Keep it PG.
PG. I got you. Yeah.
But yeah, that
Yes, yes.
that Ubisoft game seems very interesting.
Have you heard Ubisoft is making a Star Wars game, Craig?
No, I haven't heard of that one yet. What?
Yeah,
Didn't know
they
that was
haven't
coming out.
announced what the title is, but they described that's going to be an RPG game and it's going to be open world.
Oh, that's gonna be dope.
Yeah,
That'd be something cool. Go to different planets as well.
yeah. And then
That'd be dope.
me and James were talking about Battlefront 2 and how there's so much potential that it had, but it just fell so little. Fell a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, they could have added a lot more to it, but I mean, overall, I mean, they from where they started to where they ended it, I mean, can't really complain too much about all they did with that game. But
But here's the
still a
thing.
great game with it.
We can say that they came, so far with it, but out of all of the content that's in the game, how much of it is there that you wouldn't have thought would have been there at launch? Like how much is in that game right now that you could look at it and be like, okay, I could see that being a DLC. Versus like I would say like a majority of that game should have been there at launch.
Yeah, I would agree to
To
that.
make it feel like a full game. Like it almost feels it's not as bad as the original Battlefront done by EA because that one felt like just like a hollow shell. I feel
That
like
was a
because it
really
was
bad
so
one. Yeah.
there was so little content, but from the standpoint of because I love the game. Don't get me wrong, played it a ton, but I feel like we can't just give it a pass because they put a ton of content in there because that content should have already been there.
I agree with that. Yeah, it should have been the whole package instead of paying for $60 for little content that they did not have.
Good
And
old freemium.
yeah, and they put loot boxes in it to
I mean,
give them
in
more
that
money.
case, though, I mean, I think they were just like rushing to get that second game done because the first one had such poor reviews on it in the first place. So, like, they probably released a bunch of stuff without that content. They were just trying to get a new game out there to try to boost the reviews of their Battlefront games.
That worked out well, didn't it?
I mean, compared to the first one, yeah, I would definitely agree. In my opinion, though, instead of remaking the Battlefront 2 games, I think they should have just remade the OG from like PlayStation 2, like the original Battlefront 2, and added all those maps, the same thing, but just keep them with the graphics that they have now.
So Craig, is what you're saying is what they're doing with Knights of the Old Republic, that remake, that's the treatment you want them to do for the original Battlefront?
No, like the graphics they have now, like with the new systems, all that, like it's great, like it looks awesome, but just put that into the OG Battlefront 2. Like all the graphics are updated and everything. Yeah, pretty much.
I see where Greg is coming from because I think we're in an era to where
Because think about it, because like
Yeah.
imagine Galactic Conquest and everything with the graphics of today's era with video games. I mean, that would have been incredible.
I think in the last the last 2 decades. Well, I'll just say the first decade, one decade. I think we've been in like a trance or like a following of how games haven't been finished, and now we're in a trend to where they're gonna be finished, but there's so many remakes and remasters now. So I see where he's coming from that. I think since we're in the trend of remakes and remasters, I think they should make a remake of the original Battlefront, like Greg said. Keep the same graphics or improve on them, but add the same kind of maps that they had, but a lot more detailed than before. add all the characters that they had from the previous game, but with better graphics. But yeah, I see where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of
I mean,
that,
I
James?
think they would have had much better reviews on that. Plus, all the content that James is again just saying that should have been there. It would have been there.
Are you there, James?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Well, I think they're going in the right direction for the remake of Knights of the Old Republic. But the one thing is, that I heard that they're not doing turn based for the remake. So,
Yeah.
Right. I heard that as well. And I am okay with that.
mhm.
My reason being is that when the original one came out, the processing power and the technology to have a game that would feel really smooth and be able to incorporate all of the abilities properly, we did not have that. So now with all these updated the tech and all the different systems that can handle and process everything, I think that they could definitely make a much better game, similar almost to, I would say, Jedi Fallen Order and how those abilities worked. If they were to incorporate something like that, where it doesn't need to be turn-based, because while the turn-based was fun, we already have Knights of the Old Republic. I am okay with them taking the core concept of that game and then recreating the experience, because it's something that I want to at least be able to try again for the first time, because yeah, it's fun to replay games, but at the same time I want like a new experience, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, like just kind of paying homage to the original one, but you're
Exactly, yeah.
improving on it, and you're developing something kind of new, but it's still sort of similar to what it used to be in a way.
It's like the original game updated for modern technology and the capabilities of modern technology.
Yep.
Yeah. I just hope what they're gonna do with the remake. Yeah, it could be in the same realm as Jedi Fallen Order, but hopefully, like they could add, like if you want to play as, well, of course they're gonna add that, but you want to play as a Jedi or a Sith. Do you want to have a different type of you play as a different type of race, and then have these different type of cosmetics or armor sets that you get throughout the game, and then next you know you can change your uh, color of your lightsaber, or do you want to become like I don't know what do you call them? Like, is it what is Han Solo considered as
Smuggler.
a smuggler? Yeah, you can be a smuggler, or you can be a soldier, or I don't know. I can see it as like the Star Wars Mass Effect or something if they want to create
Hmm.
like that.
It kind of remind like if we're going that route, it almost reminds me of like the Destiny games, if anything like that.
Yeah,
Like that's what it'll turn into.
Right. And I was almost going to use the example of what Final Fantasy's been doing with all of their games, because remember, for the longest time they were turn-based as well, but in more of their recent games I actually played Final Fantasy, I think it was 14 or 15. And I think they've done a really good job at keeping the core idea of the game intact, but making the combat more freeform and action, and still having the ability to pause the game. So like you said, paying homage to the original and where it came from, but being able to update it and scale it to today's standards, graphics quality, and then also gameplay quality, it is pretty important as well. So something like Destiny is a good example, but I think those Final Fantasy games do a really good job of showing the evolution of turn-based combat to what it looks like now.
yeah. Well, it has came to 1 o'clock already, so we are hit the end of this episode of the Jones Review. I want to thank
I was
James.
able to join the last 15.
Yeah, the
Woo,
last
just
15.
in the
Yeah,
nick of
Greg.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you
Finish
about
out
to say,
strong.
Greg?
What'd you say?
What were you about to say?
Oh, so just finish out strong. Craig
Yeah.
comes in the final 15 seconds. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. But yeah, thank you, James and Craig, for being on the episode of the Jones Review. I appreciate it. We're definitely
Yeah,
gonna
sorry
catch up
it
sometime
took so
for
long.
sure. It's been so long, and I definitely miss you guys. So it's definitely.
Yeah, we're
For
missing
sure.
you too. You can make sure you're hopping on gaming with us sometime here, Bailey.
Oh, of course, man. Just shoot me an invite to the party and let me know what kind of games you want to play. And We can play them
All right,
sometime.
we got you.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. I appreciate you
Gotcha.
letting me get on with you as well, Bailey.
Yeah.
It's good getting to meet some of the people you work with, and then obviously get a little bit of a platform to discuss some of these fine issues and topics.
Yeah, y'all got the for the two of you, and also for those of you who are listening. There's the Jones Review text channel in our WWSU Discord, so
Yep.
you could chat directly with Bailey on current and upcoming topics for the show. So if you want to join the Discord, just go to the radio station's website, wwsu1069.org, and click the join our Discord button.
Yeah. And of course, we'll be having more Jones Review merchandise soon too. And also, we'll be airing next Saturday, same time for the Jones Review and with the new guests. But anyways, I'll catch you guys up with. I'll catch up with you guys soon. Jeez, I cannot talk today. But I hope you guys have a good day and stay tuned for more of the Jones Review.
All good, man. All good.
Thank you, y'all.
Yeah, you too,
All right,
man. I'll
have a
talk to
good
you
one,
later.
guys.
Yeah, you too.
You are listening to WWC 106.9 FM, Fairborn, Dayton, Dayton's right